Okay guys, peace, love and centeredness. So we're now working with the fourth state of matter, and if you know how to connect dots, you can see the truth glaring, regardless to people's names, who invents what, who does this, who does that. The plasma has no inventor. The plasma was here before the man. Yeah. So Nikola Tesla was tapping into this exact same higher form of energy. The higher form of energy is etheric. Now, I've been using this plasma now for a week. It is phenomenal in terms of using it to upgrade the self, yeah, as another charging mechanism, yeah, so that I can continue to keep raising that serpent, and keep that cycle, that constant cycle going, and that's recycling of turning metals into vapor, yeah, to create a plasma, a spirit to levitate, continues to advance upon itself. Yeah, continues. So I've been using the Gans. I'm doing it quite slowly, deliberately. I'm not mixing them alchemically externally with the age during, but obviously I'm doing mystical spiritual alchemy and mixing them internally. Yeah. Now, what's happening is that it takes away your need to eat. You don't need to eat. Why is that? You don't need to eat. So the Gans of CO2 is a copy of who you are. The urine and the waters inside of our vessel are in a Gans state. They are in a Gans state, yeah, but the Gans state that they are in, yeah, is not going to be as energetic, yeah, as the Gans that we pull directly from the external plasma, yeah, as the Gans that we pull. So, for example, I'm going to be doing a post on that. The cerebrospinal fluid and the blood plasma is not as strong as the age during in terms of its oxygen and its electric charge, yeah, because you're looking at, for each point, we're looking at, there's 100 times the strength. So the age during is pH 9. Causality, yeah, and the cerebrospinal fluid, and the blood plasma is the pH of 7, yeah. We're talking about our 7 heavens, right? So that is, you can see that there's a massive difference there. So the age during is really powerful under those terms. But the Gans of the CO2 and all of these Gans are a much higher form of energy because they are coming from the plasma state. So for example, the Gans here is so powerful that what it does is it leaves its energy signature on the water. That's all it does. And then what happens is, I'm only going to be using a small amount, a very, very small amount of that CO2. Yeah, don't need to use a lot of it at all. Yeah, you're filling a syringe, yeah, like this, and then you're putting it into water. What the plasma does, yeah, it gives you what you need and takes away what is not needed. Yeah, it takes away negativity and increases and brings in positivity. What we don't realise is, what we cannot see, the metaphysical state around us is in a state of perfection. The likes of Tesla and this gentleman that created this one, which is this Dr. Kesh, they've tried to kill him 6 times. 6 times. And the reason for that is this plasma will last for years. So if you understand nature, you start to understand nature, you'll understand the abundance. You'll recognise it by the abundance. See, I recognise things through knowing nature. I don't listen to what people say to me. I know nature, and that's what I go with. Right. So this Gans of CO2, all of these Gans here, this will last for years, and it's charging itself electrically, yeah, from the background plasma field. Free energy. This CO2, yeah, look what it does. Right. Previously, yeah, I've done gone into many experimentations through my research, etc. And I know that everything gets studied on mice and the mammal, yeah, because the mammal is like us. So here, yeah, we've seen that the blood plasma, yeah, was reversing the aging effects in the mice, yeah, because what's happening is it's triggering the hippocampus at the 7 hertz, yeah. The umbilical cord blood plasma was able to do that, yeah. So then when we go back to this test here, we've seen that you can see how they work. Look, they took it all down. The Gans cures cancer. It gets rid of it. It's not just any disease. Yeah, the amount of testimonials and so on and so forth. For me, it's not a shock. I'm not shocked because I understand that the metaphysical nature of this realm is in a state of perfection. But we have been put into a scarcity-based mindset. So even when we think sometimes that we are awakening and we think that we have mastered it, we are not there yet. Yeah. So what we can actually pull from the air that gets breathed, what you breathe out, the CO2 that you breathe out, yeah, and all this CO2 that we see around us that gets emitted from this, from that, yeah, the bad CO2 that they say is no good, that's causing this problem to the ozone layer and all this jibe that they speak, yeah. That CO2, yeah, is actually can be drawn in through a copper plate and a zinc plate, and then we charge it. You charge the waters, yeah, and what it does is it pulls the plasma Gans out of the air that you can't see, and then it materializes in the bottom of the tank as this CO2, as this Gans here. That is plasma. That is come directly from the air the CO2 that you breathe out that you cannot see. So what's happening now? We are moving towards our higher state, our metaphysical state. This is what is happening here. So it then go on to tell us here, yeah. Pharmaceutical companies will now start a campaign against the Gans. Yeah, obviously, because it's you can make this. I'm going to be doing this, and what we're going to be doing going forward. Look at that one there. It's CH3, so carbon and hydrogen. Hydrogen is energy. I've been using these since last Saturday, and what it's done is it's taken me up to another level. You don't need to even eat. I've only eaten cooked once in 7 days. In these 7 days, and that was really only because it was more of an emotional thing for the taste, so to speak. It's giving you a level of energy that you have never ever seen before. So if you are ill, what will happen is it will interact with your cells, with the magnetic fields in your cells, and it will charge them. And it will charge them and transmute to a higher state. That's what it's doing. What it's doing is it's lifting us up. When people speak about breatharianism, coming from the Garden of Eden, etc., it's because if you are in a more plasma state, that is why you don't need to eat. The reason you don't need to eat is because you've attained a higher level of energy through aligning with the plasma. So you are changing your state and going to the plasma state. So they have not told us that you are transmutable. Your state of being is transmutable. The reason we see so much food places all over the place is because we are not transmuted. We are still in the lower, so we are still in earth. So the 4 elements in the ether, yeah. The fire is the one that will lead you to the plasma, yeah. When you are still in the earth, which is where most of the beings are that you see, you need to eat food all the time because you have no energy. And that is the reason why you are eating food. So it's almost as though, metaphysically, that you are already ill. And that is what they are doing to everybody. They have already kept you ill by hiding the plasma state. The plasma state is your true state of perfection. Yeah? So if I then go to... Just want to quickly have a quick look at this.
Nano state.
Mr. Cash, he sent me some samples, and those samples were given to TEPCO in order to test it. They did some tests for the toxicity of it.
Mr. Kanshar is a little hard to understand, so let me summarize the results for him. The trials were conducted using 6 groups of 6 mice.
There's 6.
For those given the Gans of CO2 with their food, the base dosage rate was 100 microgram per kilogram per day. and this dosage rate was given to groups 2 and 4. Group 1 only had the nuclear contaminated water from Fukushima added to their food. Group 2 received the same nuclear contaminated water as Group 1. However, they also received the Gans activated water added to their food. They also placed contaminated water in the drinking cup for the mice, but the mice avoided drinking from the cup. Here is Mr. Kesh.
The first group you say at the bottom, which given contaminated water, all died within their first week.
Yes, for 3 days, most of the mice had died. There was only one left. The last one survived the week, so that's why we're the week.
All 6 mice in Group 2 survived.
The water, liquid Gans CO2, yes?
Yes, liquid Gans CO2.
And all the ones in that group survived.
All the group has survived.
Group 3 was used to test for toxicity of the CO2 Gans water, and these were given 5 milligram per kilogram per day, which is 50 times the dosage rate used for groups 2 and 4. These mice showed no evidence of toxicity. Group 6 was the control group.
So, in fact, the CO2 Gans is not toxic material at all. So, what we understand, we can use Gans of CO2 in condition of the radiation contamination for waters. You can add CO2 into the water when you're in a nuclear disaster condition, and that water which you drink from the Gans can decontaminate your body from radiation. Secondly, there's been a lot of concern about the toxicity of the CO2, if it's dangerous. Now we have it from TEPCO. It's not toxic at all.
Groups 4 and 5 were inoculated with the influenza virus. Group 4 was also given the Gans of CO2 water. Group 5 survived but still had the virus at the end of the trial. Group 4, which had received the plasma-activated water with the Gans of CO2, no longer had the virus at the end of the trial.
Because influenza is a virus, and this is a clear indication, no influenza. No influenza at all. Thousands, tens of thousands of people every year die because of influenza. And this is a clear indication. No infection, no disease, no sign of influenza.
I think you would agree these are extraordinary results, and these results translate directly to the people drinking this water. There are many other benefits that flow from consuming this water, but these are beyond our current focus. A full-blown 16-day toxicity test has subsequently been conducted in Japan, and this test confirms there is no toxicity from the Gans of CO2. Here is Mr. Kesh outlining these results.
Our Tokyo University development, the first phase has finished. Some 70 mouse were delivered to university, and they were all given exact dosage of Gans to the trial. After 1 hour, the first batch of the group is sacrificed, and they look for toxicity. If within the first hour toxicity is found in any organ, the process stops. And within the first hour, there was no toxicity. Then the level of toxicity after 24 hours, they sacrificed another batch of 13 mouse. The result was negative. The next phase is 6 days. Again, the result was totally negative. The 16th day is the final day. If they don't find any toxicity within the animal body after 16 days, then it means the product is safe. This confirms non-toxicity. You're dealing with a non-toxic, non-hazardous entity because it's a copy of your own body.
As I mentioned earlier, our bodies contain these materials. We have just not understood this. And so these materials and their effects are perfectly natural to our bodies.
Yeah, so as I was saying anyway, yeah, is that we are actually already we are in a Gans state anyway. Yeah, our bodies are mostly in a Gans state. Obviously, apart from what you're going to be excreting, etc., you're going to be mostly in that state. But the only difference is, yeah, is that we have not been told how to conduct ourselves electrically, how to conduct the electric charge correctly, which I'm going to be doing in this next video in a second. So I was speaking, I was also saying, you see, that water plus air plasma is a disinfectant, right? So, which is proven, right? So that's what it does. So by simply treating the water with this air plasma, the disinfecting properties can now be disrupted, not only onto hands, but also as an alternative to chemical pesticides. So because we are approaching 2020 is the reason why this heavy plasma emphasis is coming. And the reason for that is because, as I was saying previously, talking about plasma events and stuff, but plasma is conscious, and that is why they hid the plasma, because the plasma is conscious. The plasma is conscious, and it's coming from the metaphysical spiritual planes. Yeah, so it is not working in dualism. Yeah, it is coming directly from the point of singularity. Yeah, so it looks to remove negativity, and it operates on the side of perfection, which is what we are. Yeah, and which is why this stuff can be made. Yeah, and it can last you for years. This Gans at the bottom here, like I say, it's putting its energy signature into the water. Its energy signature is then going into the body to align with your energy signature. The information from the Gans is carrying the information of perfection. The plasma is conscious. It then speaks to your internal and upgrades your state of being. And I've been doing it for a week, and it works. So this is very, very, very exciting times ahead. It's a very mystical. It's the same as, it's like the age you're in. It's obviously going to go hand in hand with the blood plasma at the same time also. But what's actually happening is it is something here that will take us, all of us, to levels far greater than we could imagine. Radiation was just wiped out of the mice with it. Yeah. Now we are coming into a state where there's going to be this heavy radiation. Right. Done a lot of research on what the aged urine can do for that, to counteract that. Yeah. With the ionic charge. However, going with the plasma just removes negativity and stops any negativity from coming in, which wipes out your pharmaceuticals, wipes out your electricity companies, because it charges itself from the background plasma field. So in terms of which they've already got, there's a power supply here that reduces electric bills by 60% and all sorts. They're able to replace hips and everything, because the magnetic field around, such as say your pancreas or your hips or so on and so forth, the plasma interacts with it and just literally nullifies it. So we have got some really, really, really exciting times ahead with this. Like I say, when you're using something that means that you do not need to eat, it is taking away your need to eat. That it is giving you a level of energy that I've seen, because I'm working with the plasma and the aged urine, but it is giving another level on top of that I didn't realise even existed, that we didn't realise even existed. Yeah, where you do not need to eat, where you do not really even need to sleep, but you are just doing it to charge. The sleeping, we are doing it to raise onto that high level. But to get up and to feel as though you've already had 10 hours sleep when you've had none, and to not even need to eat anything at all, yeah, and for this to raise my protocols, yeah, is absolutely phenomenal. So exciting times ahead for us. We can now literally pull CO2. I mean, at the moment we're working with the CO2 and the carbon and hydrogen, yeah, but you can make Gans out of lots of different things. You can even use your Gans. If you are a medication, you can make a Gans out of your medication, mix it with the CO2, so then it gets what happens is it becomes the higher form, the magnetic field of your medication, which is in perfection. So, and then when they use that, it then takes away any negativity. What we call disease, it's just negativity. But what plasma does, it gives you what you need and takes away what you don't need. And I've been using it this week, and it is absolutely phenomenal. This week coming, I will be probably mixing it externally with some aged urine and doing some tests on it as well going forward. But what I'm finding is just the fact that I'm amazed at the fact that you can just literally pull CO2 from out of the air and wipe out every single negativity that we've ever seen. Every single one, every single thing, just through pulling out the CO2 from out of the air in its plasma state. It is charging on a level that we can't even imagine. That is sat there now. These little suns have a 0 point, and they are charging themselves from the background field, and they will always do that. And every single time I use it, it charges my internal and puts me onto a more etheric plane where I don't need to be commanded by matter. Peace, love, and centeredness. Exciting times ahead for us. Exciting moments ahead for us. We can literally pull perfection straight out of the air.